G-Man Boxing. Do you know what I mean? Every single live he donates. I see him on other lives donating. He's got the bag on it.
Alright people, January 28th, 2023, mark it in the calendars, we are going to get Yarde versus Beterbiev. And I think this is going to be a great fight. I really do. I'm definitely 100% going to go to this fight, either as a fan or try and get some media passes, which I have before for Frank Warren's show, so it shouldn't be an issue. So hopefully, and I know where the Wembley Arena is, it's pretty straightforward to get to on the tube, so yes, hopefully we will get to see this fight, because I really want to see this fight live. I really want to see this fight live. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. I really do. Now, Anthony Yarde, a lot of people are already saying that this is a mismatch. That Yarde has no chance, no hope in hell, and that Beterbiev is just going to walk straight through Anthony Yarde. And he may very well do that. Certainly, I'll be picking Beterbiev to beat Anthony Yarde. However, I don't see this as the mismatch people make it out to be. I seen someone in the Element group was saying that they see Beterbiev versus Yarde as more of a mismatch than Chisora versus Fury. I was looking at that like, what? No, I don't see this fight as being a mismatch. I mean, Yarde is very talented, and you have to think of it like this, right? People looking at Yarde and they say, well, look what happened against Kovalev. And yeah, like, he lost against Sergey Kovalev. He was stopped in the 11th round by a jab that he was taking all fight until he literally, as Tunde in his infinite wisdom said, empty the gas tank, which is never a good idea to do. And then, obviously, the shots that weren't hurting you, they're going to hurt you then. And if you look at Beterbiev and Kovalev, stylistically, they're very different. If you look at Anthony Yarde's early career, he and his team, right, they've matched him horrendously. They really have. I mean, to go from the Travis Rivas of the world straight into Kovalev is just bizarre. But remember in 2017, when Anthony Yarde and his team were looking to go down the British title route, they were looking to fight Frank Buglioni. That fight never came about. But at the same time they were looking to fight Frank Buglioni, I think it was Eddie Hearn was saying, why don't you fight Jose Burton instead? And they didn't want that fight. Why didn't they want that fight? Because stylistically, Buglioni and Burton are very different. Buglioni is about 5'10", 5'11". He comes forward, he applies pressure, he looks to trade with you. Burton, 6'3", 6'4". Is he a southpaw? Jose Burton, he might have been. But long, lanky. Very different style. Yarde has always, well, against Lyndon Artur, I think in the first fight, he just was more worried about stamina than anything else. And when he actually just went for the jugular in the second fight, we all saw what happened. He should have done that in the first fight. It baffles me as to why he didn't do it. Anyway, he seems to like it when an opponent comes at you. And although Beterbiev can box, he's primarily a pressure fighter. He is. He's one of the best pressure fighters in the business. You know, he has tremendous power, excellent footwork, great ability. But Yarde is not going to have to go looking for him. It's not going to be like Sergey Kovalev where he's at the end of a jab. And Kovalev's jab, in my opinion, much better than Beterbiev's. So he's not going to have Kovalev's jab is extremely accurate, it's very powerful, it's a stinging shot, and it really offset Anthony Yarde. Because although he was able to move his head quite well in that fight, and he was able to avoid a good few of the jabs, he wasn't able to get his own work off because the jab was negating whatever Anthony Yarde was trying to do in there. Well, he's not going to have that problem against Beterbiev. Beterbiev, is he big at the weight? Hell yeah, he is. But Yarde's a cruiserweight. He's been a cruiserweight probably for the last 3-4 years. I mean, God knows how he's still able to make that weight. It's beyond me. So, Yarde, and not from what I've heard, I think is it Outmatch who knows someone who knew Anthony Yarde or knows Anthony Yarde from school, and he said Yarde's always been just naturally like that. He's just one of them specimens who just doesn't have to do weightlifting. They just look like that. So that way it's going to be natural. So Yarde is a big, strong guy. Has Yarde been stopped in fights? Yeah, he was stopped by Sergey Kovalev. But he took Kovalev's power fine early on in the fight. Has Beterbiev ever shown vulnerabilities in the chin department? Yes, he has. He's been down by Callum Johnson and hurt bad. I think people underestimate how bad he was hurt in that Callum Johnson fight. He was hurt bad. I think it was the second round. And in my opinion, Callum Johnson froze. I think he even said it himself. He froze when he dropped them. And, if he hadn't have froze, well, it could have been very interesting to see what would have happened next. So, Beterbiev, he can be hurt. Stylistically, I think he favours Anthony Yarde, or Anthony Yarde favours his style more so than a Kovalev. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I won't be picking Anthony Yarde, make no doubt. But do I see this fight as a mismatch? No, I don't see it as a mismatch. But Yarde, certainly, from what he did tonight, he needs to improve massively. Now, he's got roughly 2 months to do it. Can he do it? I'm sure he will. I'm sure he can at least try. I think Yarde will go into this fight knowing that, okay, you can't be as lackadaisical with your defense as you were against the guy you fought tonight and get hit with a couple of shots here and there. It's all well and good doing it against someone like the guy you fought tonight, but against Beterbiev, ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work, son. You need to make sure that your defense is tight, but razor tight. Razor tight. Is that even a word? Whatever you want to call it. But you want to make sure that your defense is tight. Super tight, because Beterbiev is one of those fighters where every shot has power in it. So even if he's landing you with small little cuffing shots, you're going to be feeling them. Alright, and he goes in for the kills from like that. So about this fight, I see this fight as a very good fight. I see this fight as being a fight that we're pretty much going to get a knockout with. I can't see it other than a knockout. I don't see this fight going to points. I see it being explosive. I see it being very entertaining, and I see this fight having drama in it. At the end of the day, as good as Beterbiev is, and he's absolutely fantastic, one of my favourite fighters to watch. He's right up there with Deontay Wilder in terms of one of my favourite fighters to watch. He's not getting any younger. He's had issues with injuries the last few years. Remember, this fight was meant to happen originally in October, but Beterbiev was injured. He's suffered with injuries a bit over the last few years. And he is getting up there in age. He's 36, 37 now? At that age, even if you've not had a punishing career, he's kind of in that age where, you could have a brilliant fight, and the next fight, you just age that little bit. It might not be drastic, but it's enough. It's enough to turn a fight that would have been easy into a fight that is now hard. And as Tunde says, timing is everything. I wonder could that play a factor? If this is a fully firing on all cylinders Beterbiev, I think he beats Anthony Yarde, probably stops him. I want to say he stops him between rounds 6 to 9. In around that kind of mid to slightly late. I think Yarde will be defensive early on, and I think he'll even try and definitely land a couple of counters. And I think if he lands on Beterbiev, even with a left hook or with a straight right, or the uppercut was actually working quite well for him tonight, Beterbiev's going to be in trouble. Make no mistake, he's going to be in trouble. But what happens when Beterbiev starts landing on Yarde? That's the question. That's why I find this fight so interesting. That's why I'm so looking forward to it. I see this fight as being incredibly competitive, incredibly fun, and I really, really can't wait for this fight. I'm really looking forward to it. Do I see an upset? No, I don't see an upset. But in my opinion, as I said, some people were saying that they see Chisora Fury as more competitive than this fight. Hell no. Like, my jaw would, I'd be, if Chisora beat Fury, I'd just be like, the whole world would stop. I'd be like, what? How has this happened? I just couldn't see it. If Beterbiev got beat by Yarde, I'd be just like, damn. But I wouldn't be, kind of like sitting there just thinking, how the hell did that happen? I can obviously see how Yarde can win. And as I said, stylistically, Beterbiev is not Sergei Kovalev. And I think his style is definitely it's a style that Yarde will enjoy more. Right? Again, that's not to say he'll win, but stylistically, it's a style that is more tailored to what Yarde wants in an opponent as opposed to Sergei Kovalev. So I think this fight's going to be tremendous. As I said, whether I'm going as a fan or whether I'm going as a journalist, I'm going to this fight. I've been to the Wembley Arena before. It's a fine venue, absolutely easy to get to, straight off the the Jubilee line, you walk down Wembley Way, past Box Park, you're there. Alright? Nice and easy to get to. I know the city pretty well, so I'm definitely going over to this fight. 100%. 100% I'm going to this fight. You know, it's just a case of fan or media. Preferably media, but I'll go as a fan happily. Definitely. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know yours in the comment section. You see this mismatch, or do you actually see this competitive fight? Now, understand, as I said several times, I will be picking out Yarde to win. Not a hope. But I don't see this as the mismatch people are saying it is. Definitely not. I see him as... If Derek Chisora has a 5% chance of beating Tyson Fury, I would say that Yarde has a 20-25% chance of beating Beterbiev. Make it out what you will. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. For now, lads and lassies, I'll leave it there. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Review of the week tomorrow and into a new week. Peace.